Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Starcastic Remarks alongside Chris today, who is finally back, and James, who is not. James is so sad. I miss him so much. Anyways, Dallas Stars get the win here tonight that by a final score of 2-1 by the skin, like the hair of their chinny chin chins. That was the scariest ending to a game I've had in a while. Definitely the most gut wrenching, but Chris, nonetheless, they do get the win. And, frankly, I don't care how they get it here tonight. Normally, I would have a lot of complaints about how they got it. But third game in 4 nights, second game of a back-to-back, you had to get on a flight, literally the game after a really big emotional win against the Jets. And, lots of good things happen in this game. So initial thoughts.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It feels like a game that you probably should lose given the circumstances around you, and they took care of business and they got the win. So I'll definitely take that. Casey DeSmith deserves probably 95% of the credit on this one. He was fantastic.
I'll give him more. I'll give him 99% of the credit here tonight, honestly. This was a really big question. Like, he is so hot and cold. It is completely weird to see how he has changed in the last 4 games. He was really good 3 games ago, had really 2 bad ones that were really complete stinkers, and this was his best game as a member of the Dallas Stars here tonight. So he deserves all the praise. He's probably the number 1 star, if I had to guess, for just about every single media member tonight.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. He's super hot and cold, and I think that's been pretty much true for DeSmith his entire career, and that's kind of why he stayed in the backup role. If you look at what he did with the Canucks at the end of the year last year, they were thinking for a minute, hey, maybe DeSmith can take this team to the playoffs and he'll be fine. And then he kind of started doing what we saw the past 2 games, and that's when Shelovs came in for the Canucks. It wasn't because DeSmith was really hurt. It was because they were looking for another answer, and that's when they found Shelovs. So DeSmith is kind of going to be hot and cold like this. It's something we're going to have to expect. Now, he can't be as bad as he was against Chicago. That's something that you're never going to win a game if your goalie's that bad. But it's going to be the thing where Dallas is going to have to find a way to win an ugly game every once in a while when DeSmith is in net. And I think that's totally fine for your backup goalie. Like, this isn't a guy that we're planning on relying on come playoff time. So I'll take it. And when you get a couple of these sprinkled in there, this is pretty much a stolen game by DeSmith. So he got us 2 points right here.
So good question by James here. Why were we so quick to turn on this dude?
Because those were 2 pretty terrible games. I don't think we ever saw Wedgwood play a game as bad as DeSmith played in Chicago.
Yes. So DeSmith, it's weird. It's almost like you get the worst and the best of him, but the best of him is better than the consistency of Scott Wedgwood, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Like, Scott Wedgwood would normally give up about 3 goals a game, and the occasional 2. So he was very consistent in that, and the Stars were normally able to outscore that. But with DeSmith, you've kind of got this hot and cold guy who this game can only gives up 1 goal, and then the other game where he gives up 6, including 4 in the third period, like he did against Carolina. So, I mean, maybe that's the way we can look at this.
Yeah, and if you're speaking bluntly about it, you'd probably rather have the consistent guy that gives you a chance to win every night rather than what we had with DeSmith the past 2 games with how poor his Chicago one was and how great this one was. But hey, we got 2 points out of those 2 games either way. So I guess it all evens out.
Well, there's lots of other things we could be talking about on this pod tonight, other than just DeSmith. But DeSmith deserves the most praise from this game today, and especially despite the fact that he had 2 really bad games, his previous 2 games. So he deserves even more praise for the 180 that he did here today.
And he coulda, shoulda, woulda had a shutout. He's only beat by a guy in the slot who has a fantastic shot. Like, it's literally a perfect shot from a guy right in the middle of the slot. So it's essentially a perfect game for DeSmith tonight. He made 34 saves on 35 shots. That's incredible. That's an outstanding game by DeSmith. We got to give him as much credit as we can, which you gave him 99% of. So I don't know if we give him much more. And he is the first star of tonight's game, by the way.
Yeah, no surprise. So it's kind of funny to look at the past 4 games and see, uh, well, the past 5 games, I guess you have to say, and how bad Otter and how bad DeSmith were in those back-to-back losses, and then how good they were in the back-to-back wins today. it it's just, again, it's the beginning of the season. It's not really the beginning of the season, but towards the beginning of the season, and just trying to find that consistency between both of those guys. Um, anyways, let's talk about some of the roster moves that the Stars made before the game even started. Your buddy boy from Cedar Park gets the call up. He doesn't get in the game tonight, but I would suspect and hope that maybe he gets into a game here shortly on the road trip. And correct me if I say his name wrong. It's Ritzkovian.
Yeah, Ritzkovian.
Ritzkovian. Ritzkovian gets called up. He's got 16 points in 17 AHL games. Tyler Seguin goes to the IR, and Petrovic returns to the Texas Stars. So I know this pod is not really about him in particular. It's more about the game. But what could we see from Ritzkovian moving forward? Maybe if we see him against LA on Wednesday or the game on Friday.
I mean, yeah, he's a rookie in the AHL this year, and he's been the leading scorer for the Texas Stars, kind of surprisingly. And it seems like every time he's had the opportunity to take a step in his career, he's really grabbed a hold of it. He jumped into the Texas Stars late last season and into the playoffs when the Texas Stars were short on centers, and became really important to the team there, and jumped into a big role after not playing any professional hockey before that. He played in college. So every time he gets an opportunity, he seems to take advantage of it. And if he gets an opportunity here, I think management is wondering, who knows, maybe he takes another big step with another big opportunity here. I think that's kind of the goal, because you look at him in Texas, he's doing great stuff. He doesn't really have a specific skill that I would point out and say that that's what he's better at than everybody else. But he's got the goal scorer's knack that kind of Robo has. He gets to the right places in the ice and knows how to put the puck in the back of the net when he gets his opportunities. So I think it's just management saying, hey, let's throw him a bone and see if he does what he's done so far in his really young career.
And obviously, this is a call up because they are going on the road, and because the status of Stankoven was unknown. They weren't sure if he was going to be able to go tonight. Now, with that being said about Ritzkovian getting into not into the lineup, but getting called up, there obviously Logan comes back into the lineup. So does Dumba. Generally speaking, the forward lines, I thought they were really good tonight, and that's missing Tyler Seguin on that second line, who has kind of been a beast for us lately. So it's kind of some weird lines that we've seen, but it really works out. And that line of Ben, Steele, and Dodonov, that was probably one of the Stars' best lines tonight, if not the best. And then we saw Stankoven play next to Duchesne and Marchment, and it was just like a plug and play. That looked so good, the three of them together. And then Hintz was a little slower, but everyone was a little bit slower today. And then Robo is starting to get more shots on net. So I know that's a lot to kind of dissect, but what's your thoughts on the forward lines in particular?
Yeah, I'll just dive on the Ben Steele Dodonov line there. That's been fantastic. They clicked immediately. Sam Steele really has taken advantage of his opportunity to be on a true scoring line instead of just a checking first, defense first kind of line. And he has looked fantastic. He's looked energized. That second goal for Jamie, great shot by Jamie, absolutely. But he never gets the puck if Sam Steele isn't flying down the ice and getting that puck back after a dump in. So he's been fantastic with them on a line, and I like to see them stick together as long as they can, honestly, because it looked great. It looked easy for them. So absolutely love that.
And doing that allows Stankoven to play up there with Duchesne when that happens. I almost halfway expected Dodonov to be on that line with Duchesne and Marchment. Yep. And I thought it was great the way that Pete DeBoer put those lines together.
Yep. Okay. Great call by the coaching staff there for sure. They saw that last game and they were like, nope, we're going to stick with this, see what happens a little longer.
Okay. So good segue. Two things to talk about the coaching staff with. The first one, let's talk about Dumba and his how he was used in the game today. He comes into the lineup for Petrovic. Petrovic obviously gets goes back down to Cedar Park. What did you see from him? And here's the word I'll describe Dumba today: invisible, and that's a good thing for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say better. It's not saying a ton considering the last 2 games we saw him in. He was absolutely dog water. So
Mhm.
it's pretty easy to be better from how bad he was. He still finishes the night with just under 13 minutes time on ice. Next closest is Lundqvist with 17:30 about.
Wow.
So he is still definitely not trusted. Um, and I think rightfully so. He's been pretty bad so far this year, and I mean, it's just a collapse from the start of the season and in training camp where he was our top pair right defenseman, and he's fallen all the way down to where we're trusting Nils Lundqvist, who we've been bagging on for the past 2 seasons more than we are Matt Dumba, who's getting paid nearly $4 million and is on a 3-year contract. So it's just not looking good for him right now. He didn't do anything tonight specifically that I would say he should have more minutes. So if he wants to be a number 6 defenseman, sure, but he's the most expensive number 6 defenseman in the league.
There was one particular play that he made a good tie up in front of DeSmith, and it allowed DeSmith to just worry about the shot coming from the other guy. So that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head
He
and
had
through
another
my
good
notes.
breakup of the 2-on-1 where he batted the puck out of midair on a
Okay, that's
saucer.
true.
So
I
that was
I did
another
forget
good play
about that.
by him. It was definitely better. I'm not gonna lie and tell you it wasn't better. It was a better game, but there was still turnovers. There was still slowness. Still lost puck battles. It's just not what you expect to see from a guy who's supposed to be of his caliber.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but here's the thing, Krista, and we got to be honest about this too. We don't want this to turn into another Ryan Suter situation if we can avoid it. It's already gotten worse than that. I would say even in the first 20 games of the season. I think what we really need to make sure that we do is to really kind of focus on the positives with him instead of the criticisms. Obviously, everybody in the entire world, in the whole hockey world, knows how bad he has been. And when he plays well, which I would say he did tonight, we need to let the past be past and just move forward with what we got. And I know that's not the right way to say that, but as Stars fans, we should be rooting for his success, because if he doesn't have success, then we're relying upon Petrovic to come back up and he has to be the number 6 guy, or Smith has to come back in and be the number 6 guy. And that's a waste of cap space if he doesn't work out. So I really think we need to be kind of rooting a little bit more for Matt Dumba. And I'm not saying that to be a homer. I'm just saying that to be a little bit more realistic and hope for the positive. And maybe I'm being too positive, but thoughts.
Well, I'm absolutely rooting for Matt Dumba, and I think I was more on his side more than most Stars fans were at the beginning of the year, and I think he still could be a great tool come playoff time with hits and with the emotion that he can bring to games. But I'm not gonna be excited and applaud him when he has 13 minutes time on ice and is getting paid $4 million when we've got a guy in Cedar Park who I'm watching day in and day out that looks like he could do a lot more than him. So I get what you're saying. I'm definitely rooting for him, but I'm not gonna rah Dumba for getting 13 minutes time on ice and not looking horrible.
Tyler Leslie calling me out. Ryan just wanted Dumba on waivers like 3 days ago. Laugh out loud. Yes, that is true. But that's the thing about being a fan, is things can change so quickly and so fast, just like our opinions on DeSmith. So, but at the same time,
Well, but
yeah,
DeSmith
I
is
don't, I
doing
don't,
things to change those opinions too. He just had 34 saves on 35 shots and won us this hockey game.
and
What's
that's
Dumba done?
right. And Dumba has not. He's done plays that he's expected to do.
Yeah, and
And
also DeSmith
and
had a great start to the season too. He had other good
yes,
games.
he did.
Dumba has not played well.
And you know what? Let's talk about this too, since we're talking about bounce backs. Lundqvist. I mean, what a
Great
bounce
game.
back this season. I mean, this season compared to the past 2 seasons, he has been huge. And I mean, can you imagine this decor without him right now? it would be very scary
Yeah.
to have, just DeSmith and Dumba, and then there's not like a I don't want to say security blanket. I don't want to say that much because he hasn't proved it enough yet. But it would be really bad if the Stars did not have Nils Lundqvist
Yeah.
on the decor. He was excellent tonight. We're seeing spurts of offense from him, not on the score sheet, but at least in the play. I think it's gonna come eventually.
If we had last season's Nils Lundqvist and this season's Matt Dumba on the same lineup, we
Oh,
might be screwed. So yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled that he's playing better. And they're complaining a little bit on the broadcast saying he needs to get the offensive side up. I agree with that. He does need to do that. That's the reason he's on the lineup. He's not on the lineup to be a lockdown defenseman. He's not built like one. He's built to be a puck mover and a goal scorer.
That's why he was taken out of the lineup to begin with, is because of all of his defensive miscues last year.
Right. And that's exactly what my point was going to be. He's focusing on the defense right now, and he's trying to get better at it. This is the stuff that we didn't see Harley do in the AHL because he was with Texas and he had the option to do that. We don't have the option to do that with Lundqvist. So he's doing it here in front of our eyes. So hopefully that's really what's happening, and he'll be able to develop the offense once the defense side that he's starting to show right now becomes more second nature to him. That's the goal.
And just seeing the difference between him now and last season. Again, just look at the time on ice. His last game in the playoffs, less than 7 minutes time on ice in that game. And now we're seeing him north of 17 minutes. That is huge. And that right there shows you your coach is having confidence in you. So that just makes me excited. It makes me excited for Lundqvist, and it makes me excited for us that all the stuff we've been talking about for the last, year and a half, especially all the way through the off season, talking about, okay, what is he going to do? What does he need to do? How is he going to keep his roster spot, solidified? He's done that. And I hope it's only just ladder steps up from here, and we'll see how it goes from here for him, though. And since we're talking about the defense right now as well, a huge shout out to Esa Lindell. 3 minutes time on ice to end the game. He had a 3-minute shift on a back-to-back night to end the game. That's just ridiculous, and did not expect to come off the ice. That was the other thing. It's just absolutely ridiculous, man. The defensive cues that he has, how good he really is there. He's elite on that side.
Yeah, and I feel like we could have a segment like this every single night for Lindell, and that's why he got paid like he did this offseason, because he's just that good of a defender, and he's just solid. He locks it down. He does it without flash, without style, without fear from fans. Like he is an outstanding hockey player. And if you ever want to do a little experiment, try and just keep your eyes on 23 as long as you can watching a game, and just you'll start to notice the little things that you kind of miss. The little poke check here to break something up. How he never misses an exit out of his own zone. It's just he does all the small stuff a defenseman needs to do, and he does it perfectly.
And he even took a pay cut, Chris. Now it wasn't a major pay cut, but it was still a pay cut. So I think it was like $500,000 or $600,000 pay cut to make it work. But still, just absolutely fantastic game by those two guys in particular, Lundqvist and Esa.
Yeah, and it just shocks people sometimes seeing that number tied to somebody who's never on the score sheet. You never hear about this guy. Why is he getting paid so much money? If you watch him for a game, you look at just him, you'll start to notice, and you'll start to understand the hidden side of hockey, kind of.
There's a couple of guys like that across the league. Like
Yep.
I don't know why this is popping into my head, but Samuelson in Buffalo got that really big contract a couple of years ago, and everyone's like, "Why on earth is he getting that much money?" It's like he's never on the score sheet, and all these Buffalo guys in the media are like, "Well, this is a great deal, and he absolutely deserves this." And a lot of people didn't understand, and this is exactly similar to Esa Lindell.
Yeah,
very similar in nature.
Yeah, people that really have a knowledge of hockey can see that stuff a lot easier than we can.
Especially the local guys. Okay, let's talk about power play. So we're talking, I don't know, not even a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, about how terrible the power play is. And now we're starting to see the power play goals kind of come out a little bit. And in order to win games like this, where you are obviously the inferior team, at least play on the ice, I should say, this is how you do it. You get ridiculous elite goaltending where you only allow one goal, and you take advantage of your opportunities when they come. And Dodonov today did exactly that on his goal on the power play. So that continues to be a story. I think it needs to be relied upon a little bit more, but it is nice to see that it at least looks like it's coming unplugged a little bit. The Stars power play.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's a little bit telling that the guy who hasn't been on the power play all year is the one that scores. Like something had to change to get it to go in, and it's still the second unit that gets it done too, which I more as the first unit now. I mean, these guys are the ones scoring points. We need to start opinion. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't love the power play still.
Well, I don't know if I actually stole this from Luds on DLLS, but I told Padre about it last episode, and I said, Luds made the suggestion that maybe we just throw some of the bottom six guys on the power play and just say, play like it's 5-on-5. And like we see the fourth line down there, especially recently, whoever's been on that fourth line has been very good on the forecheck, and all they've had to do is just spend some time in the offensive zone, dig the puck out of the corner, win the puck battles there, take it up to the point, look for second and third chances. And I think that's something that the Stars, they weren't converting on that perfect pass. Now they're starting to get a little bit more on the perfect pass, but they were looking for the perfect pass and then just one and done, and that's it. No second and third opportunities, no rebounds, which is really where you get that chaoticness around the net if you can get there and to get to those second and third opportunities. So, what do you think about that?
I honestly don't know if I buy that too much. I feel like where the Stars power play has really been struggling is that we're just getting passes broken up. We're getting guys that are getting sealed off into corners and having no open passes available. And I think that's more so due to guys just not moving when they don't have the puck, more so than guys moving when the puck is on the boards or is just in front of the crease. I just don't see that as the main problem here. The main problem is that we don't have guys getting open. We don't have guys looking to make plays. We have guys standing around trying to play the system perfectly, I guess. I don't know. It's not as much movement as we saw last year, in my opinion. I don't think it's really a puck battle mentality kind of thing. The system's not working that they're trying, in my opinion.
I do want to talk about Benn's goal here real quick. That was vintage Jamie Benn. That was Art Ross, Jamie Benn when he won the Art Ross. I mean, that shot was ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, he that was a sniper shot, and he's not a sniper. So I love seeing that. I just gasped when that went in. I was just like, "There's no way he just did that." What a great shot.
Well, that's the shot you see from Jamie Benn once every 10 games, and it's the one that always makes me say, do that more, please, Jamie. Like, he has that shot. We've known he has that shot, and ever since his first All-Star game when he did the sharpshooter contest in the skills competition and went 5 for 5 on the targets. Like, the dude has a wrist shot. He just doesn't use it as often as he should.
And he turned back the clock on that one, especially probably about 4 or 5 years there. It was great to see. And then just one other thing I wanted to talk about, and then I'll open it up to you if there's anything else we need to talk about. But I thought it was awesome to see it. But Stankoven at the end of the game starting a scrum, that was him. He was upset. That was awesome. I love to see that.
Yeah, he paid for a little bit for sure. He's a little bit too close to his opponent's gloves, but yeah, I like to see the feistiness.
Well, I mean, when you're like 4 inches shorter than just about everybody else on the ice, that's gonna happen. But it
But
it really was fun to see that from a little bit of snarl from Logan Stankoven. That was
well, we
nice.
always see the snarl. You just always see it on the ice instead of after the play. I mean, he's always like, yeah, Jacob says right here, he's got that dog in him. He absolutely has that dog in him. It normally comes out on the forecheck when he's stealing pucks, but came out at the end of the game there. And hey, we like that. And there's no risk of getting a penalty when the game's over.
That
Smart
is
guy.
true. That is true. Okay. Anything else that I have not said that you want to make mention of?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Let's do our biggest winner and biggest loser, and then get out of here. What do you want to start with?
I'll take the biggest loser. I'm not even gonna try to say his name. Utah's goalie. What's his name, Ryan? Veg
Karel Vamelka.
Vamelka. There you
The
go,
The
Vamelka.
J is silent.
Yeah, there's a lot of letters in there that aren't lettering, but sure. He had a good game, and he just allows one crappy one from Dodonov, and it just blows it up and makes you forget that he even played well tonight. So yeah, that
Well,
stinks. Can't give up a stinker like the Dodonov one.
hold on. So here's the thing. He only gave up 2 goals, and to some extent, yes, that should be covered.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that was a small hole that Dodonov found.
No,
So
definitely a good shot.
I think both can be true in the fact that Vamelka can still have a great game, and he just has that one mistake, and Dodonov still be praised at the same
Yeah.
time for the shot that he made.
No, I wasn't taking anything away from Dodonov, but there's no reason that hole should have been there. It was a tiny hole, and Dodonov found it, but the hole shouldn't have been there. He should have stayed on the post.
Fair enough. Who do you have for? Oh, actually, I guess I'll get my biggest loser first too. I don't know.
Well prepared.
Yeah, I know. Well, this popped into my head, but in general, this was a really fun game. Like it was nuts for the entire time. It was just back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, and all of a sudden nothing, and just dead silence, and then back and forth, and back. So maybe the biggest losers are just the people who didn't get to watch this game. And I
Yeah.
know that seems silly, but it was a really fun game to watch.
A little bit easier to watch the game when you would already be okay with a loss on this one with the second night of a back-to-back and
Yes, that
stuff
is
too,
true.
I think.
Fair enough.
So
Okay, biggest winner.
I'll take the easy one. Casey DeSmith. What a bounce back game, especially after. He had to hear some stuff from the media about how rough he was the past 2 games, and it was true. They were pretty bad, but man, bounce back, shut the haters up like that. I'll take it.
I will give mine to Nils Lundqvist. We've been talking about him a lot, and I think actually I can't even remember if I've ever given him one. I can't think of any time that I've ever given him a biggest winner. So Nils Lundqvist, biggest winner for his play tonight, for his play this season, and he did keep going, man, keep going. Like at this point, he could be pushing his way into a top 4 spot if need be. If there was like in a pinch, if for some reason somebody got hurt, so that's awesome. I love seeing that for Nils. Man, he's
Real
my
quick
biggest
before
winner.
we close it out, Nate G said in the comments here that they black out Utah games in Arizona. What the heck? That is messed up. Blackouts are
Really?
going too far. I don't know if that's true. That's according to Nate G. So if that's wrong, blame Nate. But that's crazy. I think he would know. He lives there. We don't. So that's insane. I hate blackouts. Blackouts are terrible.
That doesn't make any sense though.
It makes
They're
no
in
sense.
Utah.
They're just giving one last spit in the face to the hockey fans still there that want to watch the guys that they watched before. That is awful. Hate that crap.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nate's
But
doubling down. He's sure.
he's double sure. Okay. This will be a fun thing to end up with before we sign it off, but I had to show this. Sorry, I'm looking it up as I'm talking to y'all. So before the game, you should have seen our family group chat. It was going quite nuts, with all sorts of things about Utah, and all that sort of stuff. And Chat GPT was used for some of this, but I'm trying to pull it up, but it's not letting me.
Yeah, we had several good name suggestions since Utah famously is lacking its own name. So please leave your own name suggestions in the comments down below. But here are our entrants into the name category for the Utah Hockey Club.
I love this one, the Puck Pushers. And then this actually looks cool.
It's pretty
the
great.
Stormin, now, don't just leave out the whole fact that it's misspelled, but the Stormin Mormons. Like that actually looks like a cool logo.
That would be
I love
fantastic. There's got to be a college with that name. Like there's got to be some like BYU East campus that's called the Stormin Mormons or something like that.
Right. And then, and by the way, we got to give credit to our brother Zach for doing that. But then there's also
we're giving credit to Zach for using Chat GPT. That feels
yes, he was the one that had the idea to go and do that. And then this, of course, this as well, just brilliant. The suit and tie for a jersey. I'm having too much fun with this. I'm getting too tired on this, but anyways, Chris.
Sorry, audio listeners.
Yes, I'm sorry, audio listeners. You're gonna have to go look on YouTube for that, or you can just go look at X. Yeah, just go look on X for all of that. But last thing, is it gonna be the Yeti?
It's gonna be the Yeti. That's my favorite. It's gotta
be the Yeti. It has to be. So I think that's fun too. I honestly think it's fun that it's
more cryptids as team names.
Yes,
pro exactly. Cryptid. We are officially a pro cryptid podcast. Trademark.
Exactly. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for following along here with us tonight. We're on a 3-game winning streak after 2 really bad games. Thank you to our sponsors, DraftKings and Game Time. Use that promo code THPN the next time you are there using their services. Get a little bit of a discount there.
You can use THPN on Game Time right now, and it'll be automatically applied to your next checkout. So just do it on your phone now. I know your phone's there. Just do it. Please.
StarcasticRemarks.com is the website. If you're listening on your favorite audio platform, please consider subscribing there, leaving us a 5-star review. And on YouTube, click like and subscribe. Social media at StarcasticR, basically anywhere and everywhere. Alongside Chris, my name is Ryan. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Hope you guys have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening. Whenever y'all are listening, we'll be back with you guys again on Wednesday when the Stars take on the LA Kings. Chris, take us out.
Bye-bye, Stormin' Mormons. GG, boys.